So one of the reasons that Arifureta is one of my favorite animes of all time, like on my top 10 list, it's probably like number 8 or number 9. And it's not because it's like this masterpiece of an anime or it's just like this exceptional writing. It's just kind of like the total package that it provides us as the viewer. And I completely objectively and critically understand that this anime, including season 2, although season 2 is on track to be way better than season 1, I definitely understand this anime is like at best, at like its best day, like a 7.5 out of 10. And the reason I put ratings on that is just to kind of give you an idea of scale. Like, this isn't going to measure up to other anime that are like really considered high value anime, if I kind of put that in a way. The reason that I'm saying that is in season 2, what Arifureta has done, and I'm a little bit biased because, like I said, it's in my favorite anime of all time. I've watched the first season of Arifureta, season 1, I don't even know, 15 times. Like, I think I've watched it like twice this year just in preparation for season 2 because I was just that excited. And the reason that I bring all of that up is, so with season number 2 so far, for me, it's even more of what I loved in season 1, but again, like I've been saying, it's slightly better. So the first thing I want to point out is the OP is absolutely amazing. Like, the OP is just so good. The song works. The actually opening cutscenes are amazing. Like, it's just really, really, really good. And I have really been enjoying just the OP. Like, I've actually listened to it both times. I'm going to listen to it every single other opening as the season continues. But one thing that the opening does, it carries that same vibe into the anime. And it does it from the orchestral work, the OST, and the music that plays during the actual anime. If you guys ever really paid attention, and maybe sometimes you don't pay attention, that's why it's so good. But like when Hajime or when Yue or when they're about to get into a fight or a battle, there's certain music that plays, and it's really, really well timed, and it's really good. Like, it's like when you're playing a video game, right? And you're about to get into a battle, and the battle music starts, and the battle music like gets you in like that certain mood to like kick ass, essentially. I feel like that's what happens with Arifureta, but as a viewer, it gets me hyped up to be like, yeah, Hajime, yo, get him, you know what I mean? You know? And then when we see like Yue or TIO or, you know, whatever, like when we see them fight, it's like, yes, let's go, right? So during this episode, right, so when they were facing off the big blob that had poisoned all of the water for the city that they traveled to, there was certain music that played. When they were in the volcano area and they're taking on all of the different snakes and everything, there's certain music that was playing, right? And it does like highs and lows, like to kind of like depict the scene and kind of the vibes that are going on. So that's one thing that I really, really love, and this anime does a lot better than a lot of other anime. Sometimes, like, the soundtracks and the OSTs of certain anime are good, but they're not really well timed, or they're not as good as they could be to really capture the feeling of certain battles or certain scenes or what's happening. So I feel like Arifureta does it really, really well. With this episode overall, though, the beats of the episode are really just continuation of the first one, whereas they have the person that they rescued last episode. They travel to their town. They go and fix their water supply. They go and fix the monster there. They educate them that it might be part of like the demons attacking. Then they move on to go and take on the labyrinth. Which is the volcano area, and it's twofold. They have a quest because the town needs to go and collect certain ore or like certain material within that volcano, and the other piece of it is it's a labyrinth, so Hajime needs it because there's probably some ancient magic there that is there as well, much like the other labyrinth that he's taken on so far. So it's a twofold quest that they're on. And they end up going into the labyrinth, and they go deeper than anybody has ever gone before. And they find what will essentially be where the final boss is of said labyrinth. And it's really well guarded by all of these snakes and volcano areas and stuff. And it was just a really enjoyable episode because we got to see Hajime interact with the girls. Right, he finally looked at TIO in a satiable kind of way. He finally gave her the time of day. when they were all sweaty and stuff, which I think for me is like really cool because normally he likes TIO, right? But he's typically pretty like standoffish with her. He always kind of treats her bad, which she loves. But this episode was the first time he actually looked at her and had probably a irrespectable thought, which I was like, yes, finally. That means he's looking at her like a woman and looking at her like a potential partner, much like he looks like the other girls, right? And he's also warming up to Kaori as well, because he knows somewhere in there he has a soft spot for Kaori. So I just think all those different things are really cool. I could do without Mew wanting to also love up on Daddy, but, regardless, that's there because anime. And it's fine. I mean, if you're going to have a harem of one, you might as well have a harem from ages 8 and up, I guess. It's kind of like ready to eat for everyone, I guess. But that's just kind of what ends up happening. So overall, this episode was really good. It was fire, literally. And I really, really enjoyed it. But like, I really want to just kind of hone in on those vibes that the anime has. I just think it does it better than a lot of anime out there. And that elevates this anime to be even more enjoyable than what it already is, which is extremely enjoyable. On top of that, you have these top tier characters, which I really, really enjoy. And I'm enjoying that the pacing and the CGI work and animation of Season 2 is really elevated above Season 1 so far. I really dig that quite a bit. But that's really all my thoughts on today's episode. As always, tell me who's best girl in the comments below. Let me know what your thoughts are for this week's episode. Let me know if you have the same feels, if you're loving the OP and the ED as much as I am. I think the OP is masterpiece level. The ED is really good as well. I actually really like the visuals of the ED quite a bit. And let me know what you think about everything, and let me know on where you see this anime going. One thing that I saw in the comments last week was just about explaining the beginning of episode 1. And I just kind of want to put it out there that my energy is that the beginning of episode 1 is where we'll end this season with Hajime fighting the god. But let me know what you guys think about that as well. But that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you guys for joining me for another week. I'll see you guys next week for episode number 3.